Hey, this is Betty Dravis, and Betty has lived a very colorful life, and she's still living a very.
Oh, I'm still living it, yeah.
And she's written, is it 5 books?
5, yes.
5 books. One of them is called The Toonies Invade Silicon Valley.
Let me get a close-up of that. If you'll hold that up for me. Okay.
It was, she can tell you more about the book, because I haven't read this one yet.
Okay. The Toonies Invade Silicon Valley is about some cartoon characters inside the computer that get out into Silicon Valley. There's good ones and bad ones. The bad ones try to take over. And Steve Wozniak let me use him in a speaking role in this book. And he gets in there and helps the kids get rid of the bad toonies. So it's a parody of Silicon Valley, really. And 2 of them I don't have with me. One is 1106 Grand Boulevard. It's about my sister and her 7 marriages. And that's the address in Ohio where we grew up. And the other one I don't have with me is Millennium Babe, The Prophecy. And it's about a weatherman that goes to observe on live TV, and he makes a prophecy about the first baby born in the millennium. And then the Dream Reachers are the 2 current books.
This is Dream Reachers 1, right here. And this is where Betty and another co-author named Chase Vaughn, they interview people that have tried to achieve something great in their life. People that have come from all socioeconomic walks of life to try to accomplish something great in their life, a dream that they have. It could be, for you it might not be a dream, but for them it was a dream that they were trying to reach and accomplish. So Dream Reachers 1, basically on the cover it says, only those who stretch to reach their dreams find themselves living them. And it's a great book that if you want to read about somebody who has overcome odds to accomplish something great, there's some great stories in here. How many different interviews are in this first one?
There's 37 in the first one. And I actually met Chase Vaughn when he interviewed me for the book, and for a website he had. And I said, gee, I've read a lot of yours, why don't you put them in a book? And he said he would put them in a book if I let him use my Clint Eastwood story. And I thought about it a while, and I decided in the first book, so I only have 6 interviews in here, but there are my past interviews with Clint Eastwood, Ted Kennedy, Jane Russell, and people like that. And so then after this one came out, we decided we'd do a second one. I even got Stan in the second one.
The second book is called Dream Reachers 2. As you can see, it's quite a bit larger. It'd be about the same size as the Old and New Testament combined. but it's basically interviews with, like I said, people from all walks of life. And what are some of the high points of the book, the second book, that you might want to talk about?
Okay. On the cover is Al Pacino's stepmother, Catherine Coben Pacino. And I met her on Facebook too, and we've become really good friends. She calls me about once a month, and just really a nice lady. She's an actress and singer, and she was married to his late father. And she had this picture specially done for the cover of the book.
Hold that up, will you, Stan?
Yeah, and I
I'm
did.
going to zoom that in.
Quentin
Tip it a little bit so
Tarantino's
you got a glare on
father.
the book. There you go. All right. Beautiful, beautiful.
And there are people like Quentin Tarantino's father, and then there's a beautiful woman from Italy named Antonia Tassini. She has 2 films over there. She's a screenwriter, and she's Italy's ambassador of goodwill. Now those are some of the ones I've done. I went from stars and producers and directors to a girl in Indiana who founded an Al Pacino worldwide fan club. And then I got Stan in there because he's such a promoter and he does so many things. And so it's people that are celebrities, those people like you and me.
Yeah, just regular folks that are trying to do something.
How much are the books going for?
They're $25. They're 800 pages, and it took us 2 years to write.
Wow,
them all
okay.
together.
And you have them available now?
Yes, and I also have the Dream Reachers 1, and that one's $15.
I have a question for you, Betty.
Okay.
Tell us about your interview with Clint Eastwood.
You want me to melt? No. Okay, I met Clint because I had done an interview with a woman that he'd gone to school with, and she liked my interview of her for the East San Jose Sun newspaper. She liked it so well that when he came visiting her, she called me on the phone one day, and I'm a little housewife just getting started in journalism. I have 6 kids and my baby in diapers, and she called and says, "How would you like to interview Clint Eastwood?" I said, "Woo, when?" 5 o'clock that very day. And I tell about that in the book. It was my worst hair day ever. And so I was all, oh, I wanted to interview him so bad. And then I get my girlfriend Josie to lighten my hair and everything. And it turned darker. So I wasn't really me during that interview. But I wrote a whimsical story about it. So it was fun. And I really admire everything he's done since then. He's become like a mentor to me.
Kiss him on the cheek. Kiss him on the cheek.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah. When the lady went to take a picture of us, come here, Stan. Turn around this way. Now you put your arm around my neck,
Okay.
and you wrap your fingers down like this.
Okay.
And look at me. That's what he did. Only we had better profiles then. And everybody comments on his fingers on my neck. I didn't even notice it at the time because I was just into getting the interview, and then later I said, "Woo!"
So you live in Manteca now,
Yes, I do.
and but you're used to living in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And so, what has that been a difficult adjustment for you?
It's been difficult for the books because down there I knew everybody, and I was on NBC TV there, and always doing a book signing or something. And in Manteca, there's not even one bookstore. So it makes it limited for me with the books. But my daughter passed away, and I sort of was forced to move out of the area, and one thing led to another. I ended up in Manteca.
So have you done anything with e-books or with any kind of books on tape or books,
Yeah,
audio books?
I have 2 Tooties and Grand Boulevard are out of print now. That's why these sell. Some of these are selling on the internet for $127.
Whoa.
Because they're not in print anymore. And the same with Grand Boulevard. So my publisher wanted to do ebooks with those. So one of them just came out. The Toonies is coming out next week in ebook. I have that information on cards there that I'll pass around.
So how do you think the Kindle is going to be affecting the numbers of print books that are being sold?
I think the figures are that they're outselling print books 3 to 1 now, but I'm not sure on that statistic. But they are outselling.
Now, with all the interviews that you did you find a common denominator of people that were very successful? Did they set goals to achieve them? How did they become successful? It didn't just wake up and go, "Hey, suddenly I find myself a success." Wow.
Now, every one of them had obstacles, and a lot of obstacles came right from their own families, like their families not believing in them and saying, "Oh, you can't do that, you can't do this," and so they just were determined, and they had that drive to prove that they could do it. And then someone like several, one big movie star, her mother was an alcoholic because something her father did, and she had a really hard childhood to overcome it. And then her mother came out of that after they got divorced, whatever, and so then she went on to make it pretty good. Just
So
like
is the book only about people who achieve superstardom, or?
Oh no. It's about anyone that has any kind of dream. Like there's a couple of young poets in there, that one handicapped in a wheelchair, and all she did was publish one book of poetry. Now, that's her dream, it's what she wanted to do. But the big thing about her is that she did this from a wheelchair, and she didn't give up on anything she tried.
That reminds me about Robert's wife, Mary Hart. She wrote a book on poetry as well, and she's disabled. She's legally blind,
Wow.
and in one eye, and just a wonderful, delightful woman of God. And she's written poetry. It's beautiful. It's online. It's available too. Do you know the website, Robert?
It's lulu.com.
Her website is lulu.com for Mary Hart's
Oh,
poetry.
okay. Lulu's the name of the publisher she used.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm familiar with that.
And you
Yeah,
go
she
to-
would make a good subject. And if the book was her dream and she did it, she'd make a good interview subject.
Are you planning on coming out with another book of Dream Reachers, Dream Reachers 3?
You know, when I had to cut one of the Supremes, you know the Supreme singer group, Big Supremes?
Diana Ross and the
Yeah,
Supremes.
yeah. Okay, Suzanne Green, it was the last Supreme, and she wanted me to do her for that book, and I told her I couldn't because the deadline was over, and I have a director, David Worth, that I still want to do, and there's a lot of them I want to do, but it's just a matter of time. So I'm doing Joseph Fender right now, but I publish them first on Dames of Dialogue, which is a group I belong to, and we do different authors, and I do celebrities. So if we do another book, he'll be in that book. Yeah.
The interview that Betty did with me is between page 256 and 279. It's about that much of the book.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you for beautiful pictures. Yes, great pictures.
Well, we're pleased to have you come today and share with us. And any of you who would like a book signed by Betty, she brought about, 10 of these?
I brought 10 of those.
Yeah. And then she brought, how many of the Dream Reachers won?
Three or 4.
4.
4 copies.
Yeah.
So any of you who would like to take one home or share it as a gift with someone, let Betty know and she can take care of it.
So these are inspiring stories to tell people if you have a dream, you can do it.
Yes,
That's right.
thank you.
I'd like to ask Stan a little bit about his section in the book and what the stories are about of you. You
Okay.
can highlight those.
All right. Well, basically all she did was just ask some really great questions. And I just gave the answers and then sent her some photographs, and she ended up manipulating it and working it into a chapter in the book. It's pretty good reading. There might be some things in here about me that none of you guys know.
Like what?
No, we're not going to tell. If I go buy the book, it's right out.
But she's a good interviewer. She really cares about the people that she interviews, and I feel privileged to have been involved and to have been included.
I've got a suggestion for you, Betty. Recently, Joe Mines passed away. Joe Mines with Joe Andro Music, and they do local Christian promoting in this area, and they promote gospel music for the most part. But Joe didn't always promote gospel. He came from the streets, and in fact, he was born in Missouri, and he's an old-fashioned show-me kind of guy. But his wife, Rosetta Mines, is a wonderful, beautiful singer. She'd be a wonderful candidate for an interview on your next book. To go along with, maybe you could be a performer theme type of book, you know, where you get the Supremes, and she knows a couple other, she and Joe do several.
Temptations.
Yeah, the Temptations review. So there's several people in the entertainment business, especially music, that they know. That'd be a good contact for you.
Okay, write it down for me. Give it to me later, please.
Will do.
Thank you.
Will do.
All right. Anybody else have any questions for Betty? Any of you have a book inside you that you think is wanting to come out? Catherine, I know Catherine does, and I know.
Let's hear from Catherine and Carolyn.
Yay.
Thank you, Betty.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
Let's just take a moment.